All right, so let's talk about some of the advantages to using the PET-D. There are a number of advantages, far too many to talk about in this short presentation, but let me give you the main ones. Now, the advantages to using this new tool are, first of all, once again, it gives you the security of trading in sync with the current trend. As you just saw there, Tesla, someone would have been frightened possibly a month or two ago in getting involved in this, while the PET-D was saying you have the security of knowing you have a nice trend going at this time. Until the color bars change, you're okay to look for long setups using some type of strategy. So that's one of the best things. You have the security, you know that you have a great foundation behind you to go ahead and take that strategy signal. Another advantage to using this is it can be applied as a stop placement method. So let's say you have some very nice green bars going for you, and then you have a series of red bars. We'll show you people in the class, in the actual stock course class, how to use these as stop placement guides. So you can, rather than wait for the stock to come all the way down to the very bottom where you entered or perhaps take a loss, you can use this as one of your stop placement methods. And I think lastly, which most people will get the most excited about, an advantage to using the PET-D, is that it supplies you with numerous, and when I say numerous, I mean numerous trading techniques that are based on the color bars. Now, I'm not saying strategies, because once again, a strategy needs an entry, a stop placement, an exit, money management, all tied in. But we're talking about just trading techniques. We're talking about nice little setups that you can build a strategy off of. Now, excuse me, I'm going to share one of those trading techniques with you today, just to show you how simple but powerful using this technique is with the PET-D. All right, so these are the requirements you need for this particular technique. Obviously, you're going to need to have the PET-D applied to your chart, and then we're going to look for an inside day bar pattern. Okay, now for those of you who aren't familiar with what an inside day is, let's simply clarify it here. It's a two-bar pattern. In other words, today's bar and yesterday's bar. Now, we say day, but this could easily apply to a 5-minute chart or a monthly chart. We're basically just looking at two bars. But if you look at it as if they are daily bars, inside days are days where the chart bar has a lower high and a higher low than that of the previous day. Okay, so let me show you exactly what that means. That may be a little wordy there, but if you have 2 days, remember we have a two-bar pattern. Remember, each one of these bars does not have to necessarily be a day. It could be 5 minutes, it could be monthly. But you see here that here's day number 1 and day number 2. Day number 2 has a lower high than the previous day, and at the same time, it has a higher low than the previous day or the previous bar. So the reason why they call it inside is because the range of this particular bar is inside the range of the prior bar. Okay, so that's your inside day. All right, so we've clarified we're looking for this particular two-bar pattern along with the PET-D tool applied to it. So what are we actually looking for? Well, if we're looking for a buy situation or a buy pattern, we want to look for both bars of an inside day pattern to be colored green. Okay, this is your signal that a quick upward momentum move may continue. So that's what we're looking for, and this is what you want to see. Once you've applied the PET-D tool to your chart, you can see here that we have an inside day that is fully colored in the color bar system in green. All right, what if we're looking to go short? Well, we want to look for some type of setup, some type of clue that we're going to have a nice move down. Well, look for both bars of an inside day pattern to be colored red now with the PET-D tool. This is your signal that a quick downward momentum move may continue. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. That's simple. Remember, the credo at Specialist Trading is keep things as simple as possible. It doesn't get much simpler than that. Okay, but let me show you how powerful this little setup can be. Let's just look at one chart, or one stock I should say, Apple, and let's look at different time frames to show you how well this tool transfers over into different time frames and in different directions. Now let's start off by looking at a weekly chart of Apple going back to December or January of this year. All right, we see coming into the year the majority of the bars are all red. We have a couple of bars that signaled up for one bar but then quickly came back in downward mode. Now if we're looking for that setup we talked about, well, guess what? Here's an inside day right here, and as you can see, a quick momentum move of 70 points to the downside. Remember, this is on a weekly basis, so you could have applied some type of rules for entry, some type of rules for stop placement. You could have traded the stock, or if this is a little bit too rich for your blood, I know $500 stock is a little expensive, you could have bought the puts on this. A number of ways in which to apply some type of method to this. And then later on we see here, guess what? What do we have? We have the inside day Both bars are red, and then we had a quick 40-point move to the downside. Okay, so if you're looking, as an investor does, at weekly charts or even monthly charts, in this past 4 or 5 months, you had 2 setups where you could have made over 100 points, okay, just using this simple tool. Let's go to daily bars. Let's start off at the same time period, roughly the end of last year coming into this year. We see that the majority of the color bar system are all in red. We have a couple of snap ups to the upside in green, but the majority are all red. Let's look for those inside days. Well, we start here in October. Here's an inside day followed by a 50-point quick downward move. We have another inside day here in October, an inside day pattern followed by a quick 80-point move to the downside. In November, another inside day pattern followed by a quick 40-point move to the downside. And then we get this nice move to the upside, all right? Guess what? The colors turn green now. Here's an inside day pattern right there, a quick 30-point move to the upside. Colors turn red once again. We're in December now. We have an inside day pattern both in red. We have a 20-point move to the downside, followed by another inside day pattern here coming in the beginning of the year, 70 points to the downside. So we're talking close to 300 points in just about 3 or 4 months using this simple trading technique. Once again, this is not a strategy. We haven't told you where you'd enter, where you'd place your stop, or where you'd exit. But safe to say, if you've been trading for a while, you could come up with some very simple way to trade this. Let's go down to a 5-minute chart of Apple. In fact, this chart was taken yesterday in Apple, a 5-minute chart starting around 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. We see here that while we were moving up, the majority of the bars were in green, and then as we started moving down, the majority of the bars turned red. Guess what? Right here, roughly around 9 o'clock Pacific Time, we had an inside day bar coded in green. We had a nice 5-point move to the upside in the next half hour, an hour, followed by another inside move, but this time both colors were red, and as we can see, we had a nice move to the downside, 4 points. So regardless if you're an intraday trader, regardless if you like to trade weekly or even monthly bars, you see how this real simple technique can work, and you can build some type of trading strategy off of this. Now remember, this is just one of the different strategies. We have a multitude of different ways in which to use this, along with our current strategies. You can even apply just our current strategies if you like. I'll give you some more examples, not just to say that we're focusing on Apple. I know it's an expensive stock, but let's look at some other examples we have here as well. Tesla. Remember we talked about Tesla? All right. Say if someone had the pet D that they were using this tool, and they said, well, Steve, I wanted to use this. How could I use this trading if I don't have your strategies? Well, you simply see here that all these circles here were inside days. You think you could have taken advantage of these big moves while Tesla was going up? Remember, this is way in advance of any news coming out, way in advance of knowing how the earnings were going to be or how the company was faring. Simply listened to the pet D, and this tool was telling you we're in an uptrend. So just go along with it until we have consecutive bars of the opposite color. How about Facebook? Okay, this chart was taken yesterday actually, and we had a nice little run up here at the very beginning of May. As you can see, the color bars were green. We have a circle here circling 2 green bars of an inside day, and you had a nice run up after that from 27 up to 29, just a couple of points. Then later on in the month, in mid-month, the color bars turned red well before the stock really fell out of bed. And here's an inside day right here, and then you had a nice move to the downside, roughly from 26.5 all the way down to 23.5. So roughly 5 points if you were just using this simple method to trade. You can take this, and once again, this is not a strategy. There's no entry or exit method or money management, but it's safe to say that you could take a quick point out of most of these trades here. How about ABX? All right, we can see here that the mining stock is in a real strong downward move. All the bars are in red here. So if you didn't want to apply any one of my strategies that come with all the rules and everything you should do, or one of yours, you could simply look for the simple technique, build the strategy upon it. And you can see right here, earlier in the month, we had 2 inside days that could have warned you in advance of a strong downward momentum move. Remember, people, as I always say, trading doesn't have to be difficult. Trading is extremely simple. It's only us who make it difficult. We get in our own way. And then lastly, you can use this as a directional tool for the market. Now here are the spiders, as we can see coming in to the very end of May here, when this chart was taken. All of the bars coming into May, we've had a really nice rally. Well, all the bars in April actually were green as well. So we knew in advance that we were in some type of uptrend. There was no way we were going to even look to short the spiders. And if you wanted to use this as a directional tool for the market itself, you could see that, well, if the spiders are all green, then I'm only going to look for stocks to go long or for issues that are green as well. You know, a number of ways to use it. Or you could have just traded the spiders and look for a couple of inside days while we're going upward. And as you can see here, in the middle and end of the month, we had two nice inside days here where you could have taken advantage of that. Okay, so let's recap as we come to the close of this presentation. The PET-D is a simple trading technique, and we should just share with you a simple trading technique that we incorporated the PET-D with this two-bar pattern. It pinpoints quick momentum moves in any direction and in any time frame. Points to remember though, as I've stated, this is not a complete strategy. What I just shared with you with the trading technique with the PET-D applied with a two-bar pattern, the inside day, is not a complete strategy. Remember, we want you to use the PET-D as a directional tool, but in order to use it as a strategy, you still need to know about entry points, you still need to have stop placement, you still need to have money management involved.